This is an exclusive, very, very hard to get footage from something that almost no outsider has ever seen. Watch this.
This is what many Pakistanis call evidence of an American war with their country. Rare images from the remote tribal region of North Waziristan showing destruction after a U.S. drone strike. The attack occurred at 3 a.m. on March 30th in this market area. One missile pierced the ceiling. More demolished 5 nearby shops. 4 alleged militants were killed in this strike. Their identities were never publicly confirmed. Here in the border region with Afghanistan, strikes like this are not uncommon. But the area hardest hit by the drones is also the most difficult for outsiders to visit or report from.
The collateral damage is way more than what it is even perceived by the people who are doing it.
Pakistani lawyer Shahzad Akbar says he's discovered that while the U.S. drone campaign may yield a few high-value hits, far more civilians are being killed than are reported. Over 300 strikes have been carried out in Pakistan since 2004, but there's enormous controversy surrounding the casualty tally. According to Washington and London-based research groups tracking reports of drone strikes here, as many as 3,000 people have been killed as a result, most of whom are labeled militants under a broad U.S. definition, only a few dozen of which have been identified as militant leaders.
The problem is that no one cares if nobody is killed. And by nobody, I mean a person who is a nobody, a person who is probably just living in that area, has no money, no education, no representation.
So Akbar launched his own campaign, a legal one, to represent local families who suffered civilian casualties in the strikes. He's now filed lawsuits in Pakistani courts suing former U.S. intelligence officials for carrying out the drone program and the government of Pakistan for failing to stop them.
It's incredibly difficult to get any kind of physical evidence from the remote parts of the country where these drone strikes typically occur. But these, what are believed to be fragments of actual Hellfire missiles, were smuggled into Islamabad from those tribal areas.
Akbar says the pieces were collected from drone strike sites, and he's using the serial numbers to confirm their make and manufacturers. But to gain access into the far-flung reaches of Pakistan, he partnered with Noor Behram, a journalist and father of 6, born and raised in North Waziristan. After growing frustrated with the lack of ground reporting from the region, Behram says he committed himself to documenting the devastation. He's gathered photos and testimonies from dozens of strike sites and has personally witnessed 10 drone attacks in and around his own town of Miramshah.
There's Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and America. They're fighting each other. The Taliban say you're killing our soldiers, we'll kill yours. I try not to get involved in these issues. If there's even one child killed in the drone strike, it's a tragedy.
And across Pakistan, anger is growing. At this anti-drone rally in Miramshah, hundreds of men gather to listen to the leader of this conservative religious group as he rails against what he calls U.S. imperialism and their drone strikes inside Pakistan. Behram worries the U.S. campaign to kill terrorists will actually end up creating more.
When people are out there picking up body parts after a drone strike, I think it would be very easy to convince those people to fight against America.
Behram and Akbar have filed 13 lawsuits so far representing 71 families of civilians killed and say they'll continue to fight their battle in the courtroom. Amna Nawaz, NBC News, Islamabad.